say, kids, what time is it?
Hey, so week number 4 in the books, hey?
Oh God. I
Everything's great.
yeah, for you. I I'm ready to go to my mom and say, here, just pick these
You'll
games.
catch up.
Let me know what you picked. Will I though?
It's not that much. I
Uh,
thought I remember we only did this last year for like what 9 weeks or 10 weeks maybe,
yeah.
and I did the same thing midweek. I think mid season. I think I got up to like I was up like by 5, and then it was like by week number 13 or 14 we were back to even again. It's like so
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't
I,
know.
ha- I have a feeling one of these weeks is going to be such a bomb. It's like it's going way too well.
It
NFL,
is.
the NFL is the ultimate like I don't
Humbling
know what the word it
machine.
is. Brings you back to
Yeah.
the pile.
Well, let's pop our records up. I went 8-8 again, second time this year. You went 11-5 again, second time this year, which brings the cumulative. It's getting lopsided quick. Oh, where'd they go? Oh my God! Hang on. There they are. Hang on. There. So you're 40-24 on the year. I'm 35-29 on the year. So I'm chasing 5 as
All
we
right.
enter week 5.
Yep.
So
I mean, there are 18 weeks in the football season, so
that's true. I keep thinking
yep.
17, but there's all these
No, it's
buys and
18. Yep.
18.
Yep.
Right. All right.
So
I'm
as
not
much
going
as
to
we like to say,
panic,
yeah, right.
but
As long,
I am wearing this in memoriam of a former really great quarterback, but he's done. So,
as much as everybody loves, well, we like to say, and everybody like to say that the NFL season goes by quick. At least they added another week,
that's true.
hoping to
That's true.
make it a little easier.
I actually we have a guest this week, who wants to just quickly drop in, and he has a message for Ben Roethlisberger and the Steelers.
Oh, okay.
Farewell and adieu to you fair Spanish ladies. Farewell and adieu, you ladies of Spain. For we've received orders for to sail back to Boston.
Yep.
And so never more shall we see you again.
You never know.
Thanks, Quint. He's right. Yeah. We'll get to the fork jobs in a couple weeks. Our report cards, weeks 8 and 9. We'll get to them, but boy, oh boy. I mean, you thought the Jets' offense was bad. The Jets put up 27 this week. The Steelers cannot get out of their own way. They're so bad. They're boring. They have replaced the Jets and the Panthers as the most boringest team ever.
Who is going to be quarterback then? Oh, it's Haskins, right?
No, I wish it was. It's going to be
Oh,
stupid Mason Rudolph.
oh, okay. Oh,
So
sometimes he has flashes of doing well.
he's a backup. He's just a
Yeah,
backup.
I know. I know.
So this is years and years of not thinking ahead
Mhm.
and letting your star quarterback dictate what goes on. So anyway, so
Yep.
what are your talking points this week? You go first. You're in the driver's seat there.
Well, should probably be just like a dual one because I'm going to just jump right into the Brady Bowl.
Nice.
I don't know if it's called the Brady Bowl. It's not really called the Brady Bowl. Brady
Okay, we'll call it the
Belichick Bowl.
Belichick Bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a much better game. Tampa Bay at New England. That was a much better game than I thought. Everybody was like pretty much saying, "Well, it's a great that Brady's going back to New England, but there's no chance that New England has." But man, Belichick certainly knows how to game plan against like what is he like a 25-year veteran now or something like that. Jeez, he had him befuddled. I mean, they barely squeaked that out, and I think they won the turnover war. Um, and it's just like the only part of like I thought Belichick's plan was great and coached through the whole game. And I think the only time he blinked was at the very end. Why didn't he go for that? Like,
I
was
agree.
it 4th and 3, and there was like a 56 or 58 yard field goal, which like there's no
In those conditions, I mean, it
in
was
those
pouring
conditions, and I'm
rain. Yeah,
like, all the alternatives are kind of bad because number one, all right, say the best possible thing is you make it. Now you're still giving Brady a minute and a half with like 2 timeouts to come back.
yeah,
Okay, so that's a lot of that's almost a done miss, and then the game is over, which of course it was.
yeah.
And Mac Jones for New England had a rough start, but I think at that moment he had heated up and he had like thrown like 19
19
straight
straight
completions.
completions. Yeah,
So for him not to really trust him there, I was a little befuddled by that. But up until then, like the way he game planned on defense, that was brilliant.
oh my
I don't
God,
I don't think Tampa Bay won because of him. More
no,
like
no, and I think what you saw, aside from Belichick actually outright winning the game, was probably the best possible outcome for both guys.
yeah, that's true.
You can't not, they can't now sit there and say, well, it was all Brady and Belichick had
Right.
nothing to do with it. I mean, clearly he went out there with much lesser talent, undermanned, and a rookie quarterback, and Mac Jones statistically outplayed Tom Brady.
Yes. Yep.
So, yeah, he went toe to toe, and
True.
you're right. That defensive game plan was amazing. Not surprised. We've seen him do it in Super
Yeah.
Bowls and everything else when he's supposed to be overmatched. It was that was again, aside from the Patriots winning the game, about as perfect as you can get. I mean, a 2-point decision. It was right down to the wire. It was possibly the best game of the week. It was
Yeah.
so much fun to watch. It really was an
It was
incredible
okay.
chess match. Both teams were hitting hard on defense. And
Yeah, it
Mac
was like a
Jones,
throwback to classic football.
it was a throwback, and Mac Jones really impressed me. Yeah. What else can you say? It was more than anybody thought. Everybody thought Tampa was going to go in and just steamroll them.
Yeah, it was almost like the plot of one of those movies where it's like, everybody thinks that's it's gonna be somebody's gonna be overrun, and then the underdog kind of makes it close, and then kind of like the last bit thing is, Belichick doesn't really want to show up Brady, so here's I'm gonna kind of like quietly make the wrong decision at the end just so you can have that.
Yeah, but
I know that's not the way it worked, but it's almost like that.
Folk hit the upright. I mean,
I
6 inches the other
You're
way,
right.
and they win the
Yep.
game, right? So
Maybe not.
maybe
As I
not. Right,
said,
right.
he's still got a lot of time.
He had about
Uh,
50 seconds, 45 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I thought it was actually a minute, but okay.
Well,
Maybe
because
it
they
was
just
less.
went into kneel down mode, so it was
Okay. All
basically
right.
over with the kick.
Okay.
But you're right, that was phenomenal. It was a phenomenal game, and it exceeded every expectation I think almost everyone on the planet had.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
And so far, the NFL has like really hit the prime time really well. Even when you have like teams that seem lopsided or not great attractions, it's just the game winds up being so good.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. And in fact, my next talking point, I'll go to the Thursday night game,
Yeah, that's a good point.
Cincinnati and Jacksonville. And boy, Cincinnati got pushed for a while there,
Yep.
but in the end, they walk away 3-1, and Joe Burrow looks like he's in the running for MVP at this point.
Jeez. Yeah, he kind of single-handedly won that game. Early on, it was like, what was Jacksonville like 14
14
nothing? I'm
zip,
like,
yeah.
holy cow! Hey, this is a game. This is a game. It's not like I mean, I kind of expected it's supposed to be like that, but I thought it was the other way around, where Cincinnati would just kind of run away with it from the start. But
Same.
wow, it was kind of a like blow for blow battle, and all the way to the end.
And it was fun to watch. Again, I
Yeah.
mean, in your mind, you're thinking Cincinnati and Jacksonville are two of the lesser teams, bottom-dwelling teams in this league, and that's true of Jacksonville. But they are definitely, well, they were kind of scrappy last year too. That
Yeah.
James Robinson, he's a
They were in
tough
it.
running back. They're in there, and now they have an actual quarterback back there.
Yeah.
I don't think it'll take long for them to right the ship. I think what they have is the wrong coach, and now he's in trouble. Apparently, he was cheating on his wife this week.
Jeez.
So, yeah, and they caught. I mean, these guys, everyone's got a video camera in your pocket.
I know.
Everyone's
Today,
a
it's like,
journalist. What are you doing?
Nope.
How do you think you can hide?
cannot be doing that.
So anyway, yeah, but I'm going to say it. Like I said it last week, I'm going to say it again. Zach Taylor, surprisingly effective head coach with Cincinnati. I mean, you can see this team is for real.
Yep.
And I think part of their problem this week with the slow start is they were home, and I
Well,
think they're excited. Not so much reading their press about all the success they're having, but I think they're excited about it personally. And they're like, we're home, we're playing the worst team in the league, we're going to clobber them. And I think they were a little slow to get going. Once they realized they'd gotten punched in the mouth a few times, they had to respond, and they did. And that's what good teams, what's that for saying? Like, good teams don't always have to be good. They just have to be good when it matters.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what Cincinnati did. I mean, they could have folded up the tents and said, well, this next week. Because that's the attitude that they've had. When you breed a losing culture like that, your attitude's always like, we got whatever. We'll just pack it in. We'll all go out to eat tonight, and we'll worry about next week. And there's a different mindset going on in Cincinnati, and you can see it. So, hey, you know what? It's nice to see the bottom dwellers doing well. It gets boring when the same teams are always in the
same
tournament.
team over and over.
You know,
you got to start seeing the shift coming, and you see all these teams that haven't been up there for a while. We're here.
Yeah,
and it's great, and it's like you have a challenge when you play the really good teams on your schedule, but if you're going to be a winner, you have to put away those games where you are the favorite, like in this case, and they stuck with it. They did it.
They did. What do you got next?
Well, just sticking with, I kind of almost saw all the way through the Monday night, Raiders Chargers. I mean, this was so fun for me. Just I don't know. I just love watching. I mean, I love watching. Herbert going back, but now Carr is exciting too, and he wasn't like that for me last year. It was just watching this. I just like sat back like with no expectations and watched this fun game. And the thing was, I kept thinking last year the Raiders used to do this. Well, no, not. This whole season, the Raiders are doing this over and over, and I thought eventually it's gonna come back to bite them. They don't seem to like do anything in the first half offensively. They just go in the hole all the time. Like, how many games have you seen where they're at least 14-0?
I think
and then
Steve Levy said when they went down 14-0, it was the third game out of 4 that they were trailing 14-0.
That makes sense. And it's like, and you almost get lulled into thinking it's over, especially when you see 21-0, and you see no life, and yet here we go in the third quarter. Quickly, it becomes a 21-14 game. It's like it's a game now. It's like, and then of course the Chargers kind of like dug their heels in, and they didn't let the momentum sweep over them, and
which they would have last year.
Yeah, that was another trait. That last year where they blew all those games. Their defense, put a stop to it just to give their offense a chance to get back their mojo, so to speak, and they kept it. It was like kind of a back and forth thing for a while between halfway through the third quarter to the fourth quarter, and then there was a lot of punts back and forth. Just kept it there with a 1 touchdown lead, and then the Chargers finally put it away, which is a trait that they're having this year for sure, knowing how to put those games away so it doesn't go until that last possession where everything's up in the air. But it was some of those throws. Holy cow! It's like I saw one of these sideline throws that was like you had to put it like over the defender and the receiver's shoulder as they're running out of bounds, and hit them like just as they're like the last touch out. It's like it's an incredible throw. I was so amazed by it.
Yeah, I mean, that was a really. It's funny you say the 21-0 at halftime. I got up to refill the beverage and whatnot and check email, and in my head I'm going, "Wow, we're going to see if the Raiders, if they're able to do it again, if they're going to be able to turn this around, they've got to make it a game right out of the gate." And they did. They did. Just looking at both of those teams, how different they are this year from last year, both of them. Brandon Staley's got the Chargers believing they can beat anybody, and it's clear. And the confidence that Justin Herbert's playing with he looks like a 10-year veteran.
Oh, yeah.
He looked like a 10-year veteran last year. He really looks, it's his team. It's his team. and he's getting the ball to everybody, Williams and Eckler, and he had the 2 tight ends involved this week, and it's just a marvel to watch. On the other side, I think it was Steve Young, might have been Steve Young, said something just before the kickoff because they were delayed by lightning, even though they play indoors. Kind of weird.
Weird.
They're under a roof. I mean, it's open air, but it's covered. He said something to the effect of the Carr has been spending the last couple of years trying so hard to impress Chucky, right? Now he doesn't care. He's a free agent at the end of the year.
You're right. Yeah, that's a good point.
And Steve Young, I'm pretty sure it was Steve Young. If it's not, I'm sorry, whoever did say it, that the psychology, sports, a lot of sports is up here. Most of it is up here. And if you're uncomfortable up here, it affects your performance on the field. And this year, he's like, Carr's just like, I don't care. Whatever happens this year happens because I'm going to get a big contract wherever I go. I'm just going to play.
Right. He will.
And you can see he's playing loose and fun. Like you said, he's fun to watch. He was very wooden the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And don't forget, before he broke his leg 3 or 4 years ago, he was like an MVP caliber quarterback.
Yeah, that's true.
And he breaks his leg, and he was never quite the same. He always looked pensive. He was holding back. And I thought maybe he doesn't want to get hurt again. Who knows? The injury got. Who knows what it was? But this year he looks like he's playing with house money and having fun.
Yeah, it was. The bottom line, it was. I really didn't have any kind of. I mean, obviously, I picked the Chargers in my picks, but it wasn't like any personal thing. But it was just. I love just being able to just watch the game just for the fun of the game and not be bothered with the betting thing and the fantasy thing. And it's like, who cares about that? Just watch some really good football. And that was that game for me.
Yeah, same. This is the first year in about 5 that I haven't done fantasy football. And it's great because you're not watching that stupid ticker all the time. You're watching football to watch football. And it's great. It's when you have, especially, for you and I are in a similar spot. It doesn't look like our teams are going to be, competing for a title this year. So it's fun to just sit back and without having a dog in the fight, more or less. Yeah,
that kind of frees you to enjoy
to just watch football,
all the great football.
Just watch all the great football. So that transitions perfectly into, and I already kind of went off on it at the beginning of the show, but the Steelers, Green Bay.
Oh boy,
Pittsburgh's done. Unless they need to make a change at quarterback tomorrow. I mean, yesterday even. It was just, this offense is inept. Twice 4th and 4, and they called that same little 1-yard out pass to Najee Harris. It goes nowhere if not backwards. Their opening drive, they looked impressive. But it's the thing where Roethlisberger can look good for a drive or two, but he cannot sustain it for a full game. He's shot. And this whole notion that you're going to stick with him, as the season goes on, he's only going to get battered, bruised, tired. It's only going to get worse. He's done. His career ended last year. His career ended week 12 of last year when it was obvious that he couldn't consistently throw the ball downfield. He's missing. He had Juju Smith-Schuster open twice that could have been potential scores and missed him by a mile. And Juju took the bullet and blamed himself, but it's clearly the quarterback. He's just awful. It's been the talk of the town in Pittsburgh this week. Conversely, on the other side, Aaron Rodgers, who's only 2 years younger than Ben, but looks like he's a decade younger than Ben, just continues to astound and impress. And who knows? Maybe he'll be in black and gold next year.
That's right. He's kind of like
disgruntled.
Relationship is a little rocky there, and who knows what's going to happen at the end of this year.
Yeah, but it's funny, week 1, we both kind of thought the Packers might have been done. They looked awful, and here they are now at 3-1. So,
yeah, I mean, I got to ask you that because I didn't see a lot of this game. How was the Pittsburgh defense against them? I mean, it wasn't like they rolled. It wasn't like a big blowout, was it? I mean, I know Green Bay, they have a good offense, but
the Pittsburgh defense is still good, but it's not great. And it's been clear that T.J. Watt fed off the success of Bud Dupree and vice versa.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Highsmith's a nice player, but he's in his 2nd year, and he's kind of dinged up right now. And Melvin Ingram looks tired and old. So, yeah, I mean, they're still good, but they're on the field a lot.
Yeah, that's for sure.
They're playing from behind all the time. So, I don't know. I mean, if they can't fix that offense, I mean, they're struggling to get one offensive score a game. It's like watching dental surgery. It really is. I mean, you got the Jets, you got the Lions, you got you got all these bad teams that are putting up twice as many points as Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
And I know they scored 17, 2 offensive touchdowns. That last one was a garbage touchdown. It was like 4 minutes left. No, they basically scored
Okay.
10 again. They scored on their opening drive and then nothing. So,
Okay.
yeah, they're ineffective. They can barely move the ball. Like a first down's a big deal. I feel like I'm watching the old Mark Malone, Bubby Brister Steelers of the 80s again.
Yeah, I can kind of see the how it would be difficult for Ben. Like last year, like after that 11-0 start, he probably saw it in his mind. It's like this is going to be such a grand year a year that I can go off on proud. And then when that just kind of floor fell out, it's like he's probably thinking we got to try just one more, and maybe that was a mistake.
Yeah,
Like,
it clearly
that
was.
thought.
He's not on the same page with Matt Canada, the new offensive coordinator, at all.
Oh, right, they got the.
It's a mess. And you know what? This week he got his 400th touchdown pass, and he passed Dan Marino for yardage. So you know what? Sit down, call it a career. Call it a career. You hit 2 milestones this Sunday. Just get out. Get out.
Yeah.
I love the guy. Look, I got his shirt on. But enough's enough. Enough's enough. So, I mean, it reminds me of watching Joe Namath at the end with the Rams and Peyton Manning that year he stumbled through the Super Bowl with Denver. It's the same thing. Look at Drew Brees last year at the end of the year. He looked awful. It's time.
Yeah. It's time.
He came up with Eli Manning and Phillip Rivers. Those guys are long gone. Like, it's time. It's time. And, he had his little press conference today. He's like, I still got plenty left. No, you don't, Ben. He's not going to take himself. Someone's got to sit him down. Someone's got to take him out.
Well, Tomlin's going to have to.
Remember Mike Schmidt?
Bite the bullet.
Mike Schmidt at the end of his career? And he kept thinking he had more in the tank. It was embarrassing. And then finally, in like May of that season, he was like, I can't do this anymore. Well, duh. These athletes have pride. You don't get to be a Hall of Fame level athlete without a huge ego and a lot of pride. And there's no way they're going to admit to themselves that they're finished. But my God, I mean, it's really sad watching. So
yeah, it's a rare when one of these really good ones just goes off on their own. I mean, I think recently Peyton Manning probably did the best thing that he could do, go off. But like I remember Dan Marino, that was awful the way he went out.
Right, he was hobbling around.
Eli Manning,
Brett Favre. You can see when it's over, and it's clear that it's over for Ben. And and there's no way this team's winning a Super Bowl. So what are you doing? Just go. Just go.
They're not. Close,
You're not going to ride off like Peyton Manning did. You're done. They're not even close. What do you got left?
This is kind of a dual thing because I just want to talk about the NFC West. That is really fun, but I can't make heads or tails of it.
Schizophrenic,
Those are my 2 losses, though. That I couldn't get either one of those games. Like San Francisco, Seattle, I thought for sure San Francisco was going to win that game, and it's almost like Seattle has San Francisco's number. The Rams have Seattle's number. Arizona has the Rams' number. It's like it's all this round robin thing that I can't make any sense of it, and I can't figure them out. It's I couldn't believe it. It's like that the Seahawks did nothing in the first maybe quarter and a half offensively, and San Francisco could not take advantage of that and try to get a lead on there. And then after that, Garoppolo got injured, and Seattle did just enough to win. But Seattle's defense isn't that good. What is going on with the 49ers? They just couldn't get anything done. And then the Rams in Arizona. It's like I didn't think the Cardinals defense was that great. I mean, the Rams looked unstoppable in the first 3 weeks, and this is the first time I've seen Stafford struggle in that offense. They couldn't get anything going, and their defense, which is supposed to be one of the best ones, gave up 40? I even forgot what the heck the score was, but Arizona looked unstoppable against that defense, and I think that every time there's a division game, I'm kind of I'm just gonna kind of throw like a coin up to try to pick something because I can't figure them out.
Yeah, I had the same 2 picks you did, and I was
Oh, that's right.
absolutely stunned. I was trying to watch the Rams and the Ravens game simultaneously, and I started on the Rams game, went to the Ravens game for a while, and by the time I came back to the Rams game, it was like 31-10, and I'm like, what happened?
Yeah, what happened?
Yeah, you know, without really, I didn't really diagnose the game too much because blowouts I won't, I'll see a few highlights, but take it from there. I'm wondering, and I don't know because I didn't watch the complete game, has Matthew Stafford's over-reliance on Cooper Kupp, did that finally come into play where the Cardinals rolled a safety, double covered Cooper Kupp, and forced him to go somewhere else, and he's just not on the same page with those other
Yeah,
guys.
like a defensive game plan. Just take his best one away and see what happens.
Because up to that point, most targets, most receptions, and touchdowns, and they had some kind of magic going. But at some point, and a good coach like Cliff Kingsbury and his staff, they're going to go, well, let's take away Cooper Kupp and see what he does. And maybe his timing's off with the other guys. I don't know.
And the irony of that, because you bring up a good point that he does rely on, the irony of that is with Goff, of all people, the Rams had not lost to the Cardinals. And maybe he didn't have an over-reliance on just one because he had been there for a while. Or should I say, while with McVay coaching and Goff there, they had not lost to the Cardinals before this. So and it doesn't make because it doesn't make any sense because we know Stafford was a big upgrade. But this could be his unfamiliarity with the whole team in general, like you said, being stuck just with the one like safety blanket.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, who knows? It's the NFL, and from week to week, who knows why certain things happen. I mean, it could have just been they were off. They just had an off week. Who knows?
Yeah, that's fine.
But
Now we'll see what Lance can do over on the other side too. With Garoppolo, I think he's out, right? Isn't he out for?
Yeah, I think he might be.
We'll see what everybody's talking about when Lance is going to try something. Well, let's see.
Yeah.
What happens?
But that division, my God, talk about heavyweights. One last thing I got the Ravens.
Oh, yeah.
Going up to Mile High, where it's extremely difficult to play. The Denver's always tough at home. They did benefit from the fact that Bridgewater left the game with a concussion. Drew Lock had to finish the game. But the Ravens, I keep saying it, but they're so well coached. This is a team that keeps losing pieces, this year. They're down to like 10, 11 guys. Not to mention just all their offseason changes. Never mind,
right.
And they don't change a thing. They go out there as if nothing's wrong. They don't change their game plan. They don't change their approach to things. And they're successful. They're 3-1 after losing the opener. I admire the coaching. I know Harbaugh's a bristly personality to deal with, but boy, they're good. They're good.
That's a great reflection on like the system that he put in, where you can just kind of like switch pieces in and out and still be so successful. It's actually quite amazing because the Ravens, in the terms of injury, reminded me of last year's 49ers, which they did. They lost a lot of games because they had a lot of injuries, but the Ravens seem to be holding the fort for now, and wow, they don't seem to be slowing down from it.
No, I mean, again, I make the joke that you and I can put on a jersey and go run the ball for them. They're just
probably could. I mean, they're just that well coached. It's unbelievable. I mean, they had Le'Veon Bell in there last week coming off the taxi squad, and and Jackson just looks so good down in the pocket. Yep.
So, I mean, the knock on him up till this year was that if you force him to throw the ball, he's going to make mistakes. He doesn't have much touch. He's got happy feet, the whole bit. Not anymore. Now, if he has to stand in the pocket, he stands in the pocket and delivers. And they're scary. They're scary because even hobbled, they're a very, very good football team. So you got anything else, or we get into our picks? What do you want?
I just want to quickly give a little bit, because I know we got on their case, deservedly so, but just give it a little bit love to the New York teams.
I was going to
who,
do that too.
in classic form, they won their first game each, but had to make it difficult. They had to go into overtime to do it, but okay, that's okay. You did win, and specifically the Giants offense and the Jet defense. When the Saints, I still can't figure out the Saints. They're up 21-10 in the fourth quarter, and I thought,
At home.
well, that game, on top of that, at home, and I'm like, that game's over. Nope. I gotta give Giants a lot of credit for coming back on against those odds, and then in overtime just sealing it away. None of this field goal stuff. Just put the game away and get out of there.
Yeah.
And on the other hand, I probably still can't figure out Tennessee either. They're all up and down, just like New Orleans. But the Jets defense really put something. It looked like every other play there was a Jet defender taking down Tannehill. What do they have, like 9-10 sacks? It was unbelievable.
Well, it helped that he didn't have any of his wide receivers.
Yeah. Well, there is that
which
one,
made them very one-dimensional.
Right, and I don't think their offensive line is any better either. So
no.
On top of that, but yes, you're right. That does speak back to we're talking about how the Colts are 0-3 and out of it. Well, they're not that far away from that the Tennessee there with a division lead, and I give the Jets a lot of credit for hanging in there, and they did some good things offensively this week and put that game away as well. So. Good for the New York teams.
Yeah, Zach Wilson started. He had a couple picks in the first half again, right? I think 2.
Yep.
Second half, it's like he had an awakening. He finally realized, I'm an NFL quarterback.
Yeah.
He finally had a good half of football. The first good half of football he's had all year. Maybe that'll kind of, motivate him going forward a little bit and give him some confidence, because up to this point he looked really bad. Tennessee, you're right. I mean, A.J. Brown and Julio Jones out really hampered them. But that division, you just talked about the NFC West, which is, wall-to-wall great. And then you have the AFC South, which is, my God, it's probably the worst division in the whole
They're like this year's NFC East, who were last year, where the winners might have like not a 500 team, might have a losing record. I don't know.
Yeah, who knows? But all right. Well, with that, should we get into this week?
Yep.
All right, let's do that.
This is the week where you're going to catch up with everything.
I don't know about
I'm going to do 5. I'm going to feel like 5-11 or something. Because there was a lot of games where I'm like, well, whatever. Yeah. No idea.
That'll be me this week. Let's see. Week 5. Yep, week 5 starts tomorrow. We're taping this on a Wednesday. Thursday, 8:20 p.m. on NFL Network and Amazon Prime. Now, I have a question. Quick question.
That's right, Amazon Prime.
I thought Amazon was supposed to have the whole season.
So did I.
And I've been like, why are these games not on Amazon? And now I don't have to worry about it, I guess, because, well, at least this week it's on. But it's a great game.
I saw like a graphic a couple weeks ago. It's like where the first 4 seasons they couldn't. There must have been some kind of clause in where the first 4 seasons were exclusively not on, and then the rest of the week. I don't know where that came. Like why that determination?
Yeah.
First four games.
Maybe we got
the season.
Maybe we got the year wrong. Like maybe the exclusive starts next year. I don't know.
But they do have the rest. I mean, which is by far the most of the season. It was just the first 4 games for some reason. I have no idea.
That's weird. Maybe because I don't know. That is weird. Maybe because of the networks like Fox and CBS, they have actual new shows starting now. I don't know. Who knows? Who can figure these stupid TV deals out? So we got the 3-1 Los Angeles Rams hitting the road and going to division rival Seattle at 2-2. So pull out your coin that you just said you were going to flip and flip it.
Yeah, that's. Again, I can't figure this division out, so I'm gonna pick the Rams only because, like, as the NFL in general, this division probably goes and evens itself out. So the Rams lost last week and the Seahawks won, so I'm gonna just flip it around and have the Rams win, and that's it. I can't give you any more better reason than that.
Sound logic, my friend, and that's kind of my thinking as well. Like, will the Rams lose 2 in a row? Before last week's game, I said this might be the best team in the whole league. They're the most balanced. They're the most, they're potent offense and they're stingy defense. And then they get smoked at home. Seattle is, again, I still think the 4th best team in that division.
Yeah.
And I think they're just too mezes to win 2 in a row against a divisional opponent. They beat San Francisco last week. I think they take one on the chin this week. So I'm also going Rams.
Yeah, I love it when the NFL strings you along just enough for you to say, yeah, that's the team of the year. And then, like, right after that, you get shown, they're just as vulnerable as anybody else.
We only have one undefeated team left right now, so
Yep.
that'll tell you. Next up, and I hope you have your alarm set Sunday morning at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time, the Britain Bowl. And if I'm in the UK, I'm not happy with this. You're sending us the Jets and the Falcons? Really?
Whatever.
Talk about hand-me-down. It's like, yeah,
Well,
we're going to give you the worst schedule. We're going to give you the worst game on our schedule this week.
They can't keep sending Jacksonville over. So.
Yeah.
So the next best thing.
Well, I think they were sending Jacksonville over because they want Jacksonville to move there, and it was kind of a
I know.
So the Falcons are so bad on defense.
Yep.
I mean, did you see some of those plays last week? Did you see the catch McLaurin made, where Heineke's like being sacked, falling down, throws it up. There's 3 guys around McLaurin. McLaurin catches the ball easily, like without even being contested. It was a floater. It was like a punt. And what were the Falcons guys doing? Looking at girls in the crowd? I mean, what's going on?
I agree with you. I don't know what they're doing on defense, and it's like this is one of those games where I'm kind of like, I think if they weren't going over there, if they were in Atlanta, I probably would have gone with the Falcons. And I'm still very nervous about this too because the Jets winning 2 in a row is kind of like one of those what. But I'm just going to go with them because they have their defense is playing so good, and I think their offense will do just enough against that Falcon defense to win. But I think if it was in Atlanta, I might have gone the other way, but I'm going to go with the Jets this way.
Yeah, I'm thinking Jets myself. I think Zach Wilson's going to be riding a little high here. He finished up strong. If he had a strong first half and kind of was pedestrian in the second half last week, I would probably lean toward Atlanta. But I think he's going to be like fired up. He finished that game strong, overtime win. Now, granted, sometimes coming off a win like that, you're flat.
Yeah, that's true.
But to me, right now, it looks like with Atlanta, if you shut down Cordarrelle Patterson, you take away most of their offense. The numbers he puts up running and catching the ball are, he puts over 120 usually every week, multi-purpose yards. And then, Ridley's decent, but the rest of the team basically ineffective. So, yeah, I'm going to go with you, too. I think the Jets' defense does just enough to pull one out. Probably this could be like a 16-13.
Yeah, it won't be high.
Who knows? Yeah, either that or it'll be a shootout. It'll be like 42-39.
Jeez, I can't imagine that, but right.
Who knows? So after we get that out of the way, we get back to we could take a nap and wake back up for 1 o'clock. On Fox, we got a run of Fox games here. So we got the Detroit Lions, one of the few winless teams left.
Yep.
The 0-4 Detroit Lions travel to Minnesota to play the struggling Vikings.
I've been trying to give Detroit some credit, but last week, just losing that badly to the Bears, it's like, oh, come on. It didn't look like they even competed at all. And now going to Minnesota, and Minnesota losing such a dreadful game as well to Cleveland. I mean, I thought Cleveland was going to win, but I didn't think it was going to be such a bad game. So I'm going to go with the Vikings here.
Yeah, same. I think, right around now is where teams start to show who they truly are, and maybe Detroit is who we thought they were in the preseason, and those. Yeah. It doesn't help when you have a game like they played so well against the Ravens. And they got rolled on a missed delay of game call and then a 66-yard field goal. Like, at some point, no matter what you say, no matter what you kind of think. Back here, you're like,
You're broken.
what else can we do? You know, what else can we do? And they just don't have enough there. So games like that can pretty much dictate the tone of your season. So yeah, I'm gonna go with you on the Vikings. I can't figure them out. They're just so underachieving. They're another five. They look like they're gonna be 500 this year.
Yeah. Yep. They are very underachieving is a great word for them.
They're another one. What is the deal? Next up on CBS, 1 o'clock, the New Orleans Saints, trying to avoid being the Aints, travel to Washington to play football team, which pulled one out of their you-know-whats to hang in there in that division.
This one is another one I kept going back and forth, and I'm just using non-football logic again. Because, I mean, I like the fact that Heineke's getting a chance to play, and he has some really bright spots. But that Washington defense is like, what the heck happened to them?
Where are they? They have not showed up yet.
Where are they? And then the Saints, it's like classically, like how many years has it been already where they're almost unbeatable at home, and then you put them out in natural grass and they lose. This season's been the total opposite. Of that. Total opposite of it. So I'm going with the total opposite of it, and I'm going to go with the Saints.
Wow. Okay.
No.
I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to go
Believe
with
me,
Washington.
I had Washington written down for a while, and then whatever.
I'm going to go with Washington. I think this is the week the defense shows up, and because the Saints have to go out in grass. Without looking at the weather, I don't know what the weather's supposed to be like. If it's poor conditions, that plays into Washington's favor.
Yeah, I gotta start looking more into that as we get into the.
Yeah, now that we're getting into the mucky months. Yeah, I just think that Heineke last week. I mean, again, the pass to McLaurin where he was basically sacked and just threw it and found him. Him, Gibson, Logan. I think they have enough at home. They're chasing Dallas, who looks outstanding. So I don't know. I don't really trust Jameis Winston. He's starting to. Right. He played so well the first couple weeks, and now he's starting to revert into. And I don't even know if it's the game plan, if they're shackling him more. I don't know what the problem is.
I don't know either.
But he doesn't look right. And Alvin Kamara, I mean, he had a good week. They're not using him enough or the right way. I don't know what's going on. The Saints will be okay, and I think they'll challenge for a wild card at some point. But this week, I got Washington. Next, the Wounded Patriots, 1-3, travel to Houston, 1 o'clock, CBS.
Yeah, I know they're traveling, but it's like after taking Tampa Bay to the limits and just barely losing, I can't see the Patriots losing this game. I mean, I know there could be after the big, build up to Tampa Bay and Brady, there could be a letdown, but I'm going to trust Belichick on trying to keep them at least win this game, because you can't go 1-4.
I'm with you. I got the Patriots. I think Mac Jones found another gear this week. And like I said about Zach Wilson in New York coming out playing on a high, because he performed at such a high level, it's got to give you confidence.
Right.
And Mac Jones, who also looked very vanilla up until this past weekend, suddenly exploded. He outdueled perhaps the greatest of all time.
He did.
So, yeah, how can you go against Bill Belichick, angry Bill Belichick? He can't let them go 1-4 if they want to even, hang in there for a playoff spot. So, yeah, I'm going New England all the way, too. Let's see, Miami versus Tampa Bay.
Oh, great. Yeah.
Sunday, 1 o'clock.
I mean, I said, all the first few weeks I kept bringing up Miami as a talking point, and I'm like, that's it. I'm done with that. It's like, what else can you say? Their defense is decent, but the offense is not doing their part. And I don't know. I don't see anything getting better, especially against the Buccaneers. I mean, what are they going to do against them? One of the top teams. I can't figure out what's gone wrong, or I can't figure out all the reasons that's gone wrong with the Dolphins this year.
At the risk of falling 7 games behind you, I'm taking the Dolphins.
Really? Okay.
Tampa Bay's secondary is destroyed.
That's true. There was no
Everybody's
secondary.
hurt. And from what I've seen so far out of Miami with, oh my God, I just blanked out his name.
Um,
The backup there.
yeah.
Holy crap.
Brisk. What the heck?
Jacoby Brissett.
Yeah.
Brissett is winging the ball around, and successfully. So I think they're going to go after their secondary. It's in Florida, so they don't have to travel very far. I mean,
Yeah, no
Tampa's
one's
far, all the
right.
way across the state from Miami, but it's not like they have to go into another time zone or anything. The conditions will be pretty much the same as they would be at home. So,
Yeah, that's true.
yeah, I Brady didn't look all that good against New England,
No, he didn't.
and Flores is such a good coach, and his staff is so good that there's one thing you can say about Miami, much like the Ravens, they're so well coached.
That's true.
I
That's
mean, 2 years ago when Miami got rid of everybody and they had nothing but table scraps, and he started winning. What, he win 6 of the last 8 with nobody on that team. I think he's going to study the Patriots' game plan defensively. I think Brissett's going to attack that secondary, and Miami's going to pull off the upset.
yeah. That's why it's my head scratching about what's happening with this year because it's like even when they didn't have anything, they still had a good system down and good coach. It just occurred to me now to go back to when they were talking about how they have this weird play calling on offense where they have 2 offensive coordinators, and I'm wondering if not 2 offensive coordinators, but 2 people sharing that. I'm wondering if that's really like hurting them at this point.
It
I don't
could
know why,
be.
but
It could be. And is it the kind of thing where they've implemented a special, like a quarterback coach for Tua?
yeah,
I don't
yeah,
know. But and I hate to say it. I mean, it's too early to call, but Brissett's more effective than Tua.
yeah. Right
He
now,
really
sure,
is.
of
And I
course.
like Tua. He's a great kid, but he has not looked like the
Nope.
first round pedigree that was put on him. Number 1 pick overall pedigree that was put on him. So we'll see. But if Miami loses this week, they're screwed too. I mean, their whole
Yep,
season's
you're right.
over. So a lot more at stake for Miami. So we'll see. Next up, and this is fascinating for 2
Oh,
reasons. One, after week one team looked like they were in some trouble, and 2, the other team really. Who had them at 3-1? 1 o'clock,
not
Fox.
me.
Green Bay 3-1 at Cincinnati 3-1.
Yeah, I'm gonna take. This is my kind of my probably biggest risk too. I'm gonna go with the Bengals here.
Wow.
I know. Maybe I haven't watched enough of the Green Bay's offense and Aaron Rodgers, but they seem kind of like not really like
Balanced.
uh, explosive or anything
Okay.
like that. They seem, I mean, they make their plays when they need to. I get it, but it doesn't seem like there's like a rhythm where they're very consistent. It's like I think there are a lot of up and down. I mean, I know Rodgers is always there and he makes it when he has to most of the time, but I don't know. I want to see. I guess this will be the week where I can kind of see where the Bengals really are. So I'm going to go with the Bengals.
I agree. This is the week we see who the
Oh,
Bengals really are, but I'm not going with the Bengals.
not going with them. Yeah.
No, I think, especially when you go back 2 weeks ago in San Francisco, 37 seconds, no timeouts, down by,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers is like, bing, 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 field goal, we win. Um, he's got that experience, and he's got the connection with Devontae Adams. It's unbelievable. I mean, that guy again this week. The Steelers were actually trying to roll double coverage over it, and he still got open when he
He
had to.
still got open.
He knows how to get open, and he's got such
That's
great
true
hands. And they have a great running game. This will be a test for Cincinnati, but
for
as
sure.
good as they're playing, they're young, and I think this is just where seasoned veterans who've been there before know how to beat a team like this on the rise. So I'm going Packers.
Okay.
Next up, can we skip this game? The 3-1 Broncos travel to Pittsburgh to play the hapless Steelers at 1 o'clock on Fox.
See, I don't. It's like this is kind of an up and down game to me too because they Bridgewater. Well, I guess I don't know for sure if
He's not
Bridgewater's not
playing,
playing.
I heard.
Okay, so see with what is Denver with I guess it would be Drew Lock, right? I mean, Drew
Drew
Lock did
Lock.
play games last year too, but uh, I I'm not. this is not like a confidence pick. Um, but I'm gonna go with Denver anyways because I think they have such a good defense, and I think you more than anything convinced me with the Steelers offense. Kind of like if they're having so much trouble regularly, and then it's like they go up against this defense, I, I could see like maybe like a 6-3 game. I guess I
Yes.
don't know,
Yes.
but
10,
I'm
10
gonna
to
go
7.
with
Yeah.
Denver.
I'm also taking the Broncos. I'm just looking at the up-to-date news right now. Bridgewater's not expected to practice.
Okay.
Locke's taking all the first-team snaps. He's got a concussion. Usually you miss a week.
Yeah, no, yeah.
So, I mean, I think they're questionable with Teddy, but I don't think he's going to play, especially because they got to travel. So, yeah, no, I still think the Denver defense is better. I think last year, Drew Lock almost beat the Steelers in week 2 in
He had some
Pittsburgh.
good games last
In
year.
Pittsburgh. I just think that the Steelers they're a mess. And they're going to limp to the bye week, and they're going to have to figure something out. So I'm with you. I got Denver on the road in Pittsburgh, which will
I know
send
it's
the Steel
weird.
City into a tizzy if they're 1-4. But guess what?
There's a lot of teams at risk to going 1-4 that aren't used to that right now.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, good segue, Edson. The next game, 1:00 on
Another
Fox.
one.
The other Pennsylvania team that's 1-3 travels to Carolina, who's 3-1.
Gosh, I'm just waiting for like whatever Eagles team people were talking about to show up. I guess.
Well, they
Like
got Devonta Smith involved this week finally.
that they did. I'm talking more like I was told, but I was hearing from different how their defense was going to be better. It's like when. I know they've played some pretty good offense. It was Cowboys followed up with Kansas City, but it's like when are you going to make a stop? I don't think Kansas. No, I'm pretty sure we didn't talk about this game, but the Chiefs didn't punt once that whole
No.
game. They had like 7 possessions, 6 touchdowns, and like Mahomes threw 1 interception, but they didn't like not one punt. So I don't know. They're coming into Carolina now after Carolina lost that game to the Cowboys, and I have to go with Carolina until Eagles show me something.
Yeah, I agree. I'm Carolina on this one all the way. Carolina lost to Dallas, but they were still, they were still in that game.
Oh, they were
for
definitely
most
in
of
that
it.
game. Yeah,
Darnold threw a few picks in the second half that killed
that's
him.
what. Yeah,
But the Eagles remind me in a way of Cincinnati, except with different results. They're a really fun young team. They're rebuilding and yeah, they're competitive and they're good and they're talented in many spots. Unfortunately, they've had to play some tougher opponents, I think, than the Bengals have so far. But
that's true too. Yeah,
but I don't think Philadelphia in Carolina is going to be any sort of. I mean, Carolina looks good. They look like a legitimate,
they do.
you know,
Without McCaffrey,
playoff team without McCaffrey, right?
Yeah, they're really good.
So I expect Carolina to get out, fix the problem, get to 4-1. Matt Rule is such a good coach, and I think that he'll have them ready and they'll take it to the Eagles at home. So it looks like both Pennsylvania teams could be 1-4 after this weekend.
Yep.
In a football state. It's almost like the 2 New York teams. It's bad.
Yeah, that's bad.
Next up, Sunday, 1:00 CBS. The Tennessee Titans at 2-2 travel to Jacksonville to play the winless Jags. Now, this is interesting because if Jacksonville wins, they're 1-4, and Tennessee's 2-3. The Jags are 1 game out of first.
1 game out of first. And I really would. I mean, it would just be really par for the course if this was the 1 game Jacksonville won. I'm picking the Titans only because are you really going to be the team that loses to winless teams twice in a row? Is that the type of team you are? So I'm hoping that that's not it. But if you are, then this will be it for that I won't believe in the Titans the rest of the year. I think.
Yeah,
I'm still going to pick them.
Yeah, I'm looking for news on Julio and AJ Brown.
The receivers.
I don't see anything, but to be honest with you, with the controversy now around Urban Meyer,
well, there is that.
So it's going to be a chaotic week in Jacksonville. Media swarming, distracting the team. You've got a rookie quarterback. You're talent deficient in many places. And Tennessee still has Derrick Henry and Ryan Tannehill. So, yeah, I'm Tennessee on the road, but I don't think it's going to be a cakewalk. But
No, I don't think so.
But I don't see the Jags winning. All right, time for the 4 o'clock games. First one, boy, it's like every week, the Cleveland Browns are in one of the best games of the week.
Some kind of like, yeah, really.
This week, 4:05 on CBS against the Chargers in LA.
Yeah, and so far I've been kind of like on their bandwagon. It's like I saw it's like this is bias where the NFL is probably going to like just slap me around.
This one's tough. This is another pick'em game.
But watching the Chargers play, that's where I'm at right now. So I'm like, and Cleveland that has a pretty good defense. So until a defense comes and like kind of like makes them, hesitate or whatever, then I'm gonna go with the Chargers. The only thing that worries me is like I know Cleveland has that running game, and it's like are the Chargers defense going to give their offense enough time on the field? But it does worry me. But I will pick the Chargers.
Yeah. Okay. First things first. The Chargers are they don't have a home stadium. They don't have home fans. So I'm not going to give them any sort of home field advantage.
Right. Yep.
Because the Browns, who travel well and have a huge fan base throughout the country, will probably outnumber Charger fans, or at least be even, just like the last couple home games have been.
Like the Cowboys.
My God, the Cowboy game, there was 2/3 Cowboys fans. This week it was half Raiders at least. Boy, I don't know. I honestly
don't know either.
Don't know. Cleveland didn't look very good in Minnesota last week.
That's the other thing.
Mayfield looked like 2 years ago Mayfield.
That was like by far the most terrible game he's played that I've seen.
Yeah. Now that said, is Baker going to have the same problem? I mean, when does he get Jarvis Landry back? Because you notice again, I'm like, am I the only one on the planet who's connecting these dots?
Right.
Landry goes out, OBJ comes back, Mayfield starts struggling. There's got to be a connection there.
They gotta know.
They gotta know. Like, am I the only one who sees this?
They gotta play. They gotta play Beckham if they're trying to trade him at the end. I don't know if they are or not, but
I think they are trying to get rid of him at the deadline. But boy,
you're right. It's a
I don't
definitely.
I don't expect Mayfield to lay another egg. With that running game, but Herbert looks like this year's MVP.
Jeez.
So, yeah, I'm gonna coin flip it and go with the Chargers.
It's gonna be this is the week of the coin flip.
Oh wow! I mean, this is a must-watch game to me. My God,
I agree.
That's the game of the week. That and the Rams in Seattle so far are the two games of the week, I think. Next up, 4:05, CBS. The 2-2 Chicago Bears travel to Vegas to roll the dice against the Raiders.
Yeah, I mean Chicago had a good game last week, but going to LA and playing the Raiders that are probably going to be not happy from last week's result or from yesterday's result, or no, the day before yesterday's result. I have to go with the Raiders here. I mean they played well against the Chargers, not enough to win, but they played well, and they haven't really had a game where they haven't played well. They've had quarters and maybe halves, but I think they'll have enough to beat the Bears.
Yeah, the Bears shocked me last week.
Yep.
And I think a huge reason is because Matt Nagy said, I'm not calling offensive plays anymore and let Bill Lazor do it. Or Laser, or however you say the guy's name.
Good decision.
Yeah, and it paid off. Justin Fields the week before got his rear ends kicked all over the field, and this week looked awesome. So and comfortable too. Comfortable, I think, was the key. Not just good, but he looked comfortable. That said, Chucky's Raiders are just playing fast and loose football. They're having fun. You can see a camaraderie there. You could see it on Monday night even.
Yeah,
these guys they pull for each other. They're playing for each other. They're playing as a unit. Chucky seems like he's having fun with the guys. You see him always joking and laughing with them. They're playing loose and fast right now, so I'm going Vegas at home. San Francisco at 2-2 travels to Arizona to play the last undefeated team at 4:25 on Fox.
I hate to say it, another coin flip game. So I just didn't like this. I just didn't like what I saw from San Francisco, and now I know, Garoppolo's injured as well, and the Cardinals are they're playing so well. I can't believe I let the bias of the second half of last season carry so much over into it, where I wasn't even like getting on them. It's just it'll be at the point where I finally get behind the Cardinals, and that's when they'll kind of like pull the rug out and start losing. But for now, I'm going to go with the Cardinals.
Yeah, this one's tough.
I know it is. Yep.
It looks like Garoppolo will play. It says they caught a. Looking at the headline, it says 49ers catch a big break with news on Garoppolo, Williams and others.
I think I would have gone with the Cardinals anyways, but okay.
The thing is, Jimmy G's decent, not great.
Right.
Kyler Murray looks great. But this is one of those traps again.
Yes, it is. Yep.
I mean, do the 49ers end up 2-3? Do the Cardinals go 5-0? I don't know.
The NFC West logic should be that the 49ers win, but I can't get myself to do it.
NFC West logic clearly says, I mean, does NFC West logic say that one team should be 5-0?
No. Definitely.
When I still think the Rams are the best team in that division. Cardinals look great, but I think the Rams are the best. I'm going to go 49ers.
Yeah.
I think they're going to be desperate on this one. They don't want to go down 2-3 in that division.
Yeah.
So I'll go with the 49ers and their defense to maybe disrupt Kyler Murray, pick off a few balls, and somehow win that game. Somehow. And if I'm wrong, I'm never picking again. Next up, Sunday, 4:25 on Fox. The New York Giants, who got off the schneid, travel to Dallas to take on the Cowboys, who just cut Jalen Smith.
Yeah, I saw that this morning.
Yeah,
wow.
The Patriots, by the way, they cut, what's his face?
I saw what you said. Oh, gosh. Gilmore?
Yeah, Stephon Gilmore, yeah.
Stephon Gilmore, wow.
So I guess that Dunkin' Donuts ad or whatever ad he has on TV has to come down now.
Yeah. I'm going to say this. It's like we probably touched on this. I like what I see from the progression of the Giants offense from week to week. And it probably parallels Saquon Barkley's progression.
Yes.
From week to week. So I don't think this is going to quite be a gimme game like I've heard from a lot of people. I'm still going to pick the Cowboys because of how well they're doing. But I think it'll be a lot closer than most people think. I think it'll be a close game. And I would not be shocked if the Giants pull this off, just because it's just these division games tend to just be equalizers. And I remember watching all Cowboys Giants games classically. It was always like this, where everyone, even when one team was supposed to be so much better, so much talented, they kind of even themselves out. So I'm still going with the Cowboys. I just think it's going to be kind of like a very competitive game.
I couldn't have said any of that any better. I think you're spot on with the whole thing. And much like Daniel Jones's progression and the New York Giants' offensive progression is around Saquon Barkley's slow ascent back to who he was, and he's looking this close.
Yeah.
The Dallas Cowboys, from week 1 to now, have also gone the way Ezekiel Elliott has gone. Their running game, I mean, Elliott alone had 100 and something yards last week. Him and Pollard combined had 210.
Which was more than their passing game, by the way.
Right.
So that's pretty balanced.
Right.
Yeah.
And you've seen, like, week 1, Dak had to throw 58 passes, 400 and what-odd yards. And each week it's come down. This week, 166, 168, whatever it was.
Yep.
Which is great. You don't want him throwing the ball that much. You want him fresh for the playoff run and whatnot. A lot of people were writing Ezekiel Elliott off week 1. Well, he looks fine to me. You can easily write a guy off when you only hand him the ball 10 times against Tampa Bay, right? Who's phenomenal against the run.
Right.
That's the week 1 overreaction. Oh, he's washed up. He's all done. He's only been in the league 4 or 5 years. He's not done. Yeah, but I agree with you. I think Dallas at home, but if the Giants were to win, I wouldn't be surprised either
Not at all. Not this one.
because they are much better than their record indicates. They are. Next up, another primetime classic. Boy, the schedule makers nailed the primetime games this week. Even when they do Cincinnati and Jacksonville, they have nailed the primetime game.
Yeah, that was still a great game.
Sunday night, 8:20 on NBC. Buffalo at 3-1 travels to Kansas City at 2-2.
What is it like? Like five? No, the Cowboy one wasn't. But like, how many coin flip games now? I mean, for most people, this might not be a coin flip game, but because people are starting to sour on the Chiefs. But it's in Kansas City. But I still think it's a coin flip game. What they did to them there in the playoffs last year. I'm going to go with the Chiefs because I think it's starting to where people starting to sow some doubts on them a little bit, but that's when they kind of like I think show who they are. And I know they've kind of you've said they've kind of like gone with saw the headlines and it's like, yeah, we could just kind of show up and even if we go down by 2 or 3 touchdowns, we'll do our thing, and that's not a good thing. But I think they've gotten that message, and I think they'll win a close one.
I got the Bills.
Okay.
Because
either way, it won't be surprising to me.
No, of course not. I mean, talk about two evenly matched teams. I just think the Bills might have the edge defensively right now. And Buffalo they look like really good, and they have the revenge factor. They got embarrassed in that championship game. So, I mean, I know it's in Arrowhead, and it's really tough to win in Arrowhead, but I just got a feeling. I think Buffalo excises the demons.
You're right about their defense, though. Their defense certainly is matching up with our offense right now. It's amazing.
Yeah. And last up, Monday Night Football on ESPN at 8:15. The Colts at 1-3 travel to Baltimore to take on the 3-1 Ravens.
And this could probably be a really another classic game too. I mean, the Colts kind of seemed to get off the mat this past week. I saw some good things from them. Their defense kind of finally showed up as well, which I always thought they had a really good defense. And I'm going with the Ravens because I just think they're still a better team right now. I mean, the Colts are another team that kind of has been hit with injuries. Is probably not as bad as the Ravens, but and they've been kind of stumbling around and still trying to find themselves. I guess they're where their strengths are. So I'm still going to go with the Ravens, but I wouldn't be surprised if this was like a really close game.
Yeah. Once again, the Colts' success follows the success of Jonathan Taylor, the running back. You seeing a pattern here? In this past Happy League, we're seeing teams' offenses right themselves when their running game gets moving.
Yeah.
Right?
You're right.
And I'm a big fan of run in defense, so that's what I like to see.
And Wentz needs that. He needs to have that running game.
And you talk about Colts injuries. He's a walking injury. He's perpetually hurt. So, yeah, they did a nice job last week. Surprised me. I picked against them, but
yeah.
But they're going to lose to Baltimore. I got Baltimore at home. They're not going to lose at home the way they're playing and the way they're coached. But the Colts will still be in this thing because of that division. Yep. So even if they lose and they're 1-4, if the Titans win and they're 3-2, the Colts are still only 2 games behind.
They're still in it. Yeah, I think the game they needed to win was
this past week,
and the Miami needed to win that too. I'm not saying either one, but they really needed to win that game to kind of keep a little bit close.
I absolutely agree with that. So, all right, well, that's that for that. That's our picks for the week. And where do you think Jalen Smith, and where Stephon Gilmore land, real quick before we go?
Trying to think of the defenses that Tampa Bay might grab.
I know they just brought in Richard Sherman last week. Now they're going to bring in Gilmore.
And I know
they probably will.
The secondary is kind of like this. I'm trying to think of what other. Yeah, there's some really good defenses out there. I mean, I guess if the Falcons were competing, but they're not. They're not competing. What's a good team?
I think like Seattle could use Jalen Smith.
Oh, Seattle. I don't know what. I know how Kansas City. I mean, their whole
Kansas
defense
City
is
could
kind
use
of-
Jalen Smith.
yeah,
Kansas
it's
City
kind
could
of-
use both of those guys, actually.
Yeah, they could use both of them actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be interesting point to bring up. They'll probably get picked up pretty quick.
Pretty quickly. And, you're right, Tampa Bay. Don't be surprised if Tom Brady was on the phone this morning.
Especially with that connection.
Grab him. We're decimated. He's available. What's their salary cap situation though? It might be an affordability thing. I mean, they signed everybody back. They can't possibly have much more money.
Right.
Unless he defers a contract or something. Somebody kicks the can down the road a little bit. But it'll be interesting to see, and I'm sure by the time we do next week's show, we will know where they are. Those are two really mega talented guys. They can't.
I mean, that's just crazy that a couple of years ago Smith was in the Pro Bowl and was like one of the big pieces for that Cowboy defense, and no one's touting the Cowboy defense, but yet they're at a point where they can't even use him. Wow.
It was like that when they had DeMarcus Ware. They kind of it's weird how the Cowboys keep doing that. They get these like all-star pass rushers.
Overloaded on one
position, right? And they let these guys go, and it's phenomenal how these patterns for these teams have patterns. It's so weird, but that's football, right?
Yep, that's football.
So once again, we want to know what you guys think. We're getting some feedback, but not enough. We want more people to get involved, and of course, the offer stands. If you want to come on and do picks with us at any point, let us know.
Yeah, now's the time. I'm challenging you to come out now while the going gets good because I'm going to crash.
While he's ahead.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I think we had 5 different this week. So either I'm going to fall 10 games behind you or I'm going to catch you.
It's usually a mix. But
yeah.
Wouldn't that be crazy if you're like, oh, we're tied this week?
I know, right?
Wow.
We'll see. So I hope everybody enjoyed the first quarter of the NFL season. I know we did.
Yeah,
it's a rough quarter. There's 18 weeks, so there's no real even way to. I guess we could cut it into thirds, but when you're talking about football, you got to have 4 quarters. So
yeah, that wouldn't work.
That wouldn't work. So the 4-5 is kind of the first quarter. So we'll just call it that and go from there. Yep. So all right, that's it for me. That it for you?
Yeah, that's it for me. I can't wait till this week because there's a lot of games that I think could go either way.
It's going to be another fun one. All right. Like, share, subscribe, comment. Hit us up on the socials, and we'll see you guys next week. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a thumbs up below. Also, please subscribe to GeekTime TV. It really helps us grow the channel. And make sure you hit that bell icon in order to receive notifications every time we drop new content here. You can also check us out on social media on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at geektimenet. Thanks again for watching. We will see you soon.
Say, kids, what time is it?